This power plant was built in 2008. Some of the equipment is to that age where it needs to be replaced, upgraded. So we had to look at doing different things with the dryer. Our previous dryer, was very old, very rusty, it's kind of decaying and needed to be replaced. So reached out and said, okay, what's available to us to upgrade this system? And we chose the E1 dryer, and this is the main driver behind it. You have to look at cost, and then you have to look at operating costs over the life of that piece of equipment. And the life of that piece of equipment is very long. Our prior system was water cooled with a auxiliary cooling water. This system does not have that. So you have a dryer that no longer requires that cooling water. Cooling water to us is like gold. It's if you can not utilize cooling water, that cooling is used in a different area where you're going to improve the efficiency. So when we looked at upgrading the dryer, and then we looked at upgrading to the fast purge system, made our selection of the vendor, and it said, we would like to have this installed. It's nice to have equipment, but then how do we go about installing it? Luckily, E1 has the answer to how are we going to install it, because they're going to install it. They came in with an excellent company that did the piping. There's some beautiful piping that we have out there. I love to take people out and show them the steam turbine piping, because they put this little curve into it. It just looks fantastic, but above all, it's the way it operates. It's perfect.
Once we determine what materials we're using, then we take E1's P&IDs and drawings, and we formulate a plan between the plant, E1, and professional pipe to determine the best routing of these lines to tie into the systems that are in place. In these systems, we have a combination of fittings, flanges, valves, relief valves, whatever is required for the particular piece that we're installing for E1.
The piping's fantastic. Then, of course, you have to connect everything, right? So it has to be connected to our control system, has to be connected so that it has power. So we brought in our own team to decide how can we provide the place to land these new points, that kind of thing. But really, that was our involvement. Most of everything else was all done by E1. We started an outage. We gave them a time frame that it had to be completed in. And this is, there's quite a bit of equipment. There's quite a bit of piping and valves. There's a lot of checkout. There's a lot of proving out. And then you have to prove it to the team that's going to deal with it every day. And when you change stuff to operators, this is it's a challenge. It's a challenge to do things that are differently, but when it's done right, and they can see that it's done right, then it makes it so it's much, much easier to work with on the day-to-day. While we were performing this this upgrade, that's what I'm going to call it, it was really almost a change out of a lot of things for this system to the E1 dryer, and to the fast purge system. There wasn't any apprehension on the operator's part, a little bit on mine of, can we get this done on time? Can we get this done on time? But we had people assigned to that. E1 provided some fantastic people who communicated with me every day.
Tim came in as a new plant manager. One of their plants went in a different direction. I got a phone call from one of his guys. He said, "You got to help me." What can I do? He says, "We want E1. We like your product. We think it is the best solution for our plant. Help me help you to make sure this happens." And from there, we pulled Jason Justinson on a conference call and a Teams call. We presented the whole process, the integration of the software, the integration of having Pro Pipe there as well for the installation, the coordination of electrical and mechanical aspect of the job, and Ray Ricazza and Riz Ricazza for site supervision of these projects. Those guys are great. They've created a great team and a great connection with the plant, the contractors, and with me. So we kind of want to get everybody involved. engineers from the plant manager, site supervision, pro pipe, the electrical guys. It's a team process, and that's what makes us successful, I believe.
There's 16 people that are assigned to this plant site to operate it and maintain it every day, but also have mechanical, electrical, I&E, engineers at our office that I can call on. So in that way, I'm very lucky. The other aspect of this is this power plant's located about 7 miles from the Atlantic Ocean, and so when it's hurricane season, a storm can come very quickly, and we have to be prepared. We have to be prepared to weather the storm. We have to be prepared to shut down the plant to protect the power plant from the storm. Depends what the level, the magnitude of it is. So any type of weather event type of thing is definitely something that keeps me up at night. Since we've installed our system, we've had a couple of minor issues with our E1 system that required a phone call. And one of the things was we couldn't get this regulator to regulate. We couldn't get the flow to flow correctly. I mean, we either had way too much flow or we had too little flow, and we couldn't understand why we had no control over that flow. And gave them a call. They sent down a new regulator and people within 2 days, and came right to the site, took a look at what we were doing, said, look, we just need to change this regulator, changed out the regulator, and it's perfect. And another aspect of it was the control system work was done by Jason Justice, and we had him come in just to help refamiliarize ourselves. We had one outage where we installed it, and then the very next outage we said, well, we'd like to have that support and have him here just to help us out. And thankfully, he had a day that he could provide us. Brought him in, and as we were purging the system, and we got to a place and we said, hey, there's something that doesn't look right in here. And he went into the controls and said, oh, it looks like I just need to change this one aspect of the program, and cleaned it right up. There was valves, and they had been labeled backwards, and once they were correctly identified and connected, it worked perfectly. The equipment has been rock solid. There hasn't been any problems with any type of the equipment. And the installation part, we got that done. We felt confident with that. The piping, like I said, looks beautiful. I think that overall, it's been a fantastic project, and the operations people have become very accustomed to how it operates. They're used to looking at the screens, and they know what they're looking at, and so between the piping supplier and vendor and E1 and the equipment and the people that they brought in to install it, and then the support that we've had for that, and then Jason Justice with the software has been perfect.